We have scores, highlights, and updates. Welcome back to myGSPN Recap. Good afternoon, guys. I'm Chris Gonzalez.
And I'm Anthony Coleman.
And thank you guys for tuning back in to myGSPN Recap, where we talk high school sports.
And as you know, this show is brought to you by GardenGrocery.com and You Discover Florida.
That's right, Anthony. And we got a very exciting show for you guys today, highlighting the games that Anthony and I attended last night, high school basketball. But before we get into all the action, I want you guys to go ahead and make sure that you're following us along on all of our social media platforms to stay up to date with the hottest coverage in high school sports.
Yep.
But without further ado, Anthony, you were over at Lake Highland Prep last night. Go ahead and tell them about that game against Montverde.
It was a huge game, two of the best teams in the state.
Girls game.
Damn nation.
Girls game,
The girls
yeah.
are out there, man, and they showed out. Montverde beat Lake Highland Prep a few weeks ago, so this is a big revenge game for Lake Highland Prep.
Right.
The Highlanders came out on fire and took the lead early in the game, and they didn't look back. They locked down on defense and got the huge 65-51 win versus the Eagles at home. Zenora Cruz led the Highlanders in scoring with 18 points, and sophomore Nyla Harris also played huge, winning the game MVP presented by Southern Nutrition in Claremont. Shout out to Southern Nutrition. She finished with 16 points. Alicia Carter also had a big game for the Highlanders, knocking down a few huge three-pointers in the win. Lake Highland Prep is off to a big start in 2020. They've been 3-0 so far this year, man. They've beat some of the best teams in the state. Number 2, American Heritage. Number 3, Montverde Academy. And number 11, St. Thomas Aquinas. So they're off to a big start in 2020. Can't wait to see how they finish the whole year, man.
Yeah, man, the Highlanders look like they're coming out strong, definitely, to start off the season.
For sure.
A little bit through the midway point of the season already, but great game there. The game that I was at last night, I was over at Dr. Phillips High School for the Class 7A District 3 matchup between the Panthers and the West Orange Warriors. Now, the game tipped off at 7:30 and was back and forth from the very tip-off. West Orange was able to hold a slim lead throughout the first half of the game behind Mike McAllister and freshman Jalen DeBosa's play. Now, by halftime, West Orange had a 32-26 lead, but a commanding third quarter by Dr. Phillips, where they outscored the Warriors 23-11 to bring them into command in this one. The fourth quarter, the game came down to the wire, but Dr. Phillips did enough to take home the close win, 63-58. Now, the Panthers were led by a very impressive scoring performance by sophomore guard Denzel Aberdeen, who finished with 22 points in the game. He led all scorers. The young man was scoring at will all night last night, and West Orange didn't have an answer for him. Abdullah Team, he added 14, and Janu and Seti, he dropped in 13. I'm sorry if I butchered either of your guys' name there. In Dr. Phillips' win, and the Panthers improved to 11-4 and remain the top seed in that district. Their next game is going to be on Friday night on the road against Apopka, who's also 11-4 on the year. West Orange was led by Mike McAllister's double-double. He had 16 points, 11 rebounds last night as the Warriors fall to 8-6 on the year. They're not going to be facing Edgewater on Monday night at home. Both teams looked impressive to me last night, man, and a very outstanding performance there by Denzel Aberdeen for Dr. Phillips. He was literally just taking off last night.
Yeah, both teams, Dr. Phillips and the game I went to Lake Highland, both teams took off at home, got the home win, defended home court, and then the big players stepped up, just like you said. So big games for those two. What about tonight? You going to win tonight?
Tonight, I'm going to be actually heading out to Central Florida Christian Academy. They're going to be taking on Wildwood at home. And for you, Anthony, where are you going to be at, man?
I'll be at the big matchup between Evans and Oak Ridge, down at Oak Ridge. Both teams are coming off a loss, so see who gets to win.
That gym is going to be packed tonight, man. That's going to be a huge
Both
game.
of them going to be some big games.
Two of the top teams in Central Florida facing off tonight at Oak Ridge High School. If you guys are in the area for either of these two games, man, go ahead and pop out. Say what's up. We'd love to see all you out there. But, Anthony, that's our show for today. We want to go ahead and thank our sponsors, GardenGrocery.com. If you're staying in the Orlando area at one of the Disney resorts, go ahead and place an order for groceries to be delivered to your room at the time of check-in. Save money and time by shopping with GardenGrocery.com.
And also You Discover Florida. If you're looking for a new restaurant, hotel, or attraction, check them out on Instagram at YouDiscoverFlorida or YouDiscoverFlorida.com.
And once again, guys, I'm Chris Gonzalez.
And I'm Anthony Coleman.
And thank you all for tuning back in to myGSPN's Recap. As always here, it's your sports, all you, all the time.